You are watching a country change its identity in real time. Saudi Arabia historically remained closed to the world. It restricted entry to religious pilgrims and business travelers. Today, the kingdom targets 150 million annual visitors by 2030. You need to understand if this shift represents a genuine societal opening or a calculated marketing campaign to hide political realities. For decades, Saudi Arabia remained closed to mass tourism. Entry focused on religious travel to Mecca and Medina. Leisure tourism for foreigners did not exist at scale. This changed in 2019. The government introduced a tourist visa program for dozens of countries. Processing times dropped to minutes. The goal was clear: reduce dependence on oil and build a new economic sector. The economic numbers. The scale of investment defines this transition. Saudi Arabia allocated $800 billion to tourism infrastructure. In 2024, the country recorded 106 million domestic and international visitors. This figure surpassed the original 2030 goal of 100 million, years ahead of schedule. International arrivals reached 27.4 million in 2024. These travelers spent $40.8 billion. The government aims for tourism to contribute 10% of the national GDP by 2030. In 2023, the sector accounted for 4.5% of the total GDP and 7% of the non-oil GDP. You see a clear intent to move away from oil dependency. The Ministry of Tourism projects the creation of 1.6 million jobs by the end of the decade. This transition addresses the 27% unemployment rate among Saudi youth, social changes, and legal shifts. You will find that the physical changes mirror legal reforms. The 2019 launch of the e-visa for 49 countries started the process. Since then, the kingdom removed the requirement for women to wear the abaya in public. Music festivals like MDL Beast now draw hundreds of thousands of attendees. A significant policy shift occurs in 2026. The government will license alcohol sales in approximately 600 designated locations. This includes five-star hotels and luxury resorts in zones like Neom and the Red Sea Project. Sales remain restricted to wine, beer, and cider with less than 20% alcohol content. Public consumption and retail sales stay prohibited. You observe a strategy to accommodate international expectations without fully abandoning conservative laws. The scale of change is measurable. In 2016, Saudi Arabia recorded about 18 million international visitors. By 2024, that number reached 29.7 million. Total tourism activity, including domestic travel, reached about 116 million trips in 2024. This growth is rapid. The country passed its original goal of 100 million visitors ahead of schedule. A new target now stands at 150 million annual visitors by 2030. You need to understand why this is happening. The answer starts with Vision 2030. This national plan aims to diversify the economy. Oil revenues dominate state income. Tourism offers an alternative. Officials aim to increase tourism's contribution to GDP to about 10% and create around 1.6 million jobs. Money is moving at scale. Tourism spending increased by more than 80% between 2019 and 2024. International visitor spending reached around 169 billion Saudi riyals in 2024. This is not a small policy shift. It is a large economic strategy. Now look at infrastructure. Saudi Arabia is building new destinations from scratch. The Red Sea project plans more than 50 hotels across multiple islands with thousands of rooms. NEOM includes luxury developments designed to attract global visitors. Suda Peaks targets around 2 million visitors each year in a mountain region previously unknown to tourists. Airlines are expanding fleets. Airports are upgrading capacity. Cruise tourism regulations are being introduced. Global sports events and entertainment shows are now common. You should ask a direct question. Is this real transformation or controlled image building? To answer, look at social change. Before 2019, strict rules shaped public life. Entertainment options were limited. Public concerts and cinemas were restricted. Today, concerts, festivals, and sporting events take place regularly. Women drive legally. Dress codes for foreign visitors are less strict than before. Hotels no longer require proof of marriage for couples checking in. These changes are visible. Visitors experience them directly. At the same time, restrictions remain. Alcohol is still banned. Public behavior rules still apply. Online speech and political expression face limits. Reports continue about arrests linked to social media posts and activism. You need to hold both realities at once. Social openness increased in some areas. Political control remains strong. Now examine the structure of tourism demand. A large share of visitors are domestic travelers. In 2024, about 86 million trips were within the country. International visitors accounted for around 29.7 million. Religious tourism still dominates inbound travel. About 41% of international visitors travel for religious purposes, such as Umrah. Leisure tourism accounts for a smaller share. Headlines about tourism growth often combine religious and leisure travel. These are different experiences. You should also look at how the country is presented globally. Marketing campaigns focus on heritage sites, desert landscapes, and luxury resorts. Projects such as Alula aim to attract international investors and visitors, with targets reaching up to 1 million visitors annually. Global events such as Formula One races, boxing matches, and esports tournaments place Saudi Arabia on international screens. These events shape perception. Critics argue this is image management. Supporters argue this is economic modernization. Now look at labor and workforce impact. Tourism expansion requires workers. Hotels, restaurants, transport, and entertainment sectors need staff. Many roles are filled by migrant workers. Labor conditions remain under scrutiny from international organizations. Wages, working hours, and living conditions vary widely. Reforms have been introduced, including changes to the sponsorship system. Debate continues over how effective these changes are in practice. Next, consider sustainability. Large-scale projects in desert and coastal environments raise environmental questions. Water use, energy consumption, and ecosystem impact require long-term management. Some projects promote sustainability branding. Independent evaluation remains ongoing. Now consider the visitor experience. If you travel to Saudi Arabia today, you will see modern infrastructure, new hotels, and organized tourism services. You will also encounter strict legal frameworks. Public conduct rules are enforced. Cultural norms shape behavior in public spaces. This is not a fully open tourism model like Europe or Southeast Asia. It is a controlled environment with selective openness. You need to evaluate intent. Economic data shows real growth. Visitor numbers increased, spending increased, infrastructure expanded, jobs are being created. At the same time, international criticism has not disappeared. Human rights concerns remain part of global discussion. The tourism push also serves to reshape international perception. Both factors exist together. So, what should you conclude? Saudi Arabia is opening to tourists. The numbers confirm it. Growth is among the fastest in the world. This opening is driven by economic necessity. Oil dependence carries risk. Tourism offers diversification. Social changes support this shift. Entertainment and mobility increased compared to the past. Yet the system remains controlled. Political space is limited. Cultural rules still apply. The state manages how change unfolds. This is not a simple story of transformation. It is also not a simple story of image control. It is a combination. If you plan to visit, understand the environment, respect local laws, learn cultural expectations, do not assume global norms apply. If you analyze policy, track the data, watch visitor numbers, spending, and job creation. Compare targets with outcomes. If you follow global trends, observe how countries reshape identity through tourism. Saudi Arabia is not the same country it was a decade ago. It is also not fully aligned with open tourism models elsewhere. You stand between two narratives. One says reform, one says image management. The evidence shows elements of both. If this video gave you a clearer understanding, support this channel. Subscribe for more data-driven travel and history stories. Share this video with someone who follows global trends. Leave your opinion in the comments. Do you see real change or controlled image building? Your perspective matters. More in-depth stories are coming. Stay with this channel.